Well, Andy, after Saturday's goal fest, have you got your breath back yet?
A bit more than my breath back, I think. It was some cup tie, wasn't it? I mean, that wasn't the plan. The plan was exactly how we started, and then the goal just before half time gave them a lift, and I knew it would. And then then it was a proper cup tie. But what I'm really pleased about is obviously we're through to the next round and all of that. But it was the actual character of the team again shone through, and that's something that I'm really chuffed with.
You said during your post-match interview that day you were a bit frustrated with what happened in the middle, but it was really good to see the team start very strong and finish even stronger, arguably.
Yeah, there was looking back at it, watching it back, there was one or two things that we've addressed that weren't quite right. But look, you've got to give a bit of credit to Rochdale, and people might not get this, but they had nothing to lose. They was at home. They was throwing caution to the wind, and they were a good team. Let's not get carried away. Last year when we was in the same league as them, we was talking about they were one of the favourites to go up last year. So they're a good team. I thought it was a good cup tie, and I thought it was everything that emulates the FA Cup.
That was Saturday. The draw was on Sunday night, and a rematch of the two promotion finalists from last year. What was your take when you saw those names come out of the hat?
Yeah, you couldn't write it, could you? I mean, it's amazing how football works. We look forward to that. I mean, to lock horns with Solihull, we've had some brilliant matches with over the last few years, and particularly last year in the final. But we're not really. It's really funny how footballers work and football people work. The draw was done. We kind of spoke about it for about 5 minutes as a staff, and then no one's really mentioned it since. It's kind of like move on to the next game, and we'll address that game when it gets nearer the time. But exciting cup draw, and more exciting that we're in the second round for the first time since 1946, I think I've got
correct.
Told. So that's another nice bit of history, and let's hope we can go one more and make a bit more history.
We've looked at the past three games in terms of Doncaster, Barrow and Rochdale, and you spoke of a couple of frustrations in those games, but overall lots of positives to take from that handful of games.
Yeah, I think I'm right in saying that we're 1 loss in 8, is that right? So there is positives. I don't think we should lose sight of we've just come up. It's a new league for us. We're not one of the big teams. And to lose 1 in 8 is nothing to be sniffed at. That's still not bad going. For sure, we'd like a few more wins on the board and turn a few of those draws into wins. But it's progression. We're stepping in the right direction. We've got a team that's learning and getting better. So I think there's a lot to be happy about. And I think as long as we keep putting out those performances like we're doing, then I think we'll be okay.
Heading towards those cold, dark months now. The weather outside isn't the greatest. How have the boys been in training this week?
Good as gold. They put proper shift in. Had a real good week training wise, and just focused on the next game. I have to say that about these group of players. They kind of straight after Saturday they're back onto the next game and focused and ready to go. And I suppose that's really a reflection of myself and the staff of how we kind of have worked since I've been here. So roll on Saturday.
You've always given young players a chance in your time here so far, and Saturday gone in the FA Cup was no exception. Nathan Paul Laverley was named on the bench. Just how much has he impressed you this season so far?
Yeah, Nathan's done great. He's a real talent. He's done really well pre-season, and we like Nathan. He's a really good player. The balance I have to get with any young player is travelling around the country on the bench and not giving them enough minutes, or playing them and getting them minutes. So that's the balance I have to get right. And we'll get that right with Nathan, but he's certainly one that will feature for us, in the near future.
Carrying on the player front, we've announced the loan departures of two players, Taylor Foran and Miles Weston. Can you just explain a bit of the backstory behind those loans?
Yeah, I think it's very important. There's twofold really. We've got to get players playing minutes. We can't have them just sitting here, not playing. They're both different cases. Miles has been out injured, come back, and needs to get out and play. And Taylor has been brought in as a sort of an ongoing project for this football club. He's one that's going to be along the way, but we need to get minutes into Taylor. I think everyone knows how much I think of Taylor. He's a really good player, but it's no good in playing in our 21s. So he needs minutes. That aside, I've got to be a realist here as well. We have to balance the books. We can't carry all these players and not play them. So we have to get some out which then frees us up to do some business in January. So there'll be a few more hopefully going out in the nicest sense to free up and to make sure that we can get our targets ready for January to strengthen this football club.
And just going back onto the young players briefly, the Bromley B team are in action against Norwich City on Friday night. Premier League Cup, it's great to have Bromley in this competition. It's a brilliant opportunity, isn't it, for these young players to showcase themselves and hopefully be picked up by yourself and your management team.
Absolutely. It's brilliant that we're now sort of having these games in this Premier League Cup, and the fact that we're in it and Steve's team are putting some good performances in that competition, because it's a real tough competition. They're up against some good players. So that's good, and we can showcase and see our boys. We're going to be in the hotel. We're going to be having it screened to us. We're going to watch it live, so we get to watch the boys live when we're away. So even though we're not physically there, we are there supporting our next group of players coming through. So I'm looking forward to that Friday.
And you talk about staying at the hotel. That's before the trip to Cheltenham Town on Saturday. Another tough game. They're all tough, aren't they, in this league?
They're all tough. Let's not get away from, we wanted to get in this league, we're in this league, and every game's going to be a tough encounter and a different challenge for us. But we're relishing all these challenges. I don't think there's been any game that we've really kind of been miles off it, so hopefully we can keep that going and start getting some wins on the board.
Well, Andy, we'll catch up with you after that one. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.